We all have wants and needs, but when we really tune into our wants, where do they actually come from? It's rarely about whatever we think we want in that moment. It's the sound of an inner conflict, all these voices inside us competing to be heard. And when that happens, the answer isn't to rush out and give them what they're asking for. The answer is to change the environment entirely. You have to step away from the noise. I call it a sabbatical of the soul, a deliberate, quiet retreat where you let the static of your emotions settle so you can finally hear yourself think. And I want you to pay attention to this because it matters. If you don't choose to step away on your own terms, life tends to force the issue. It usually shows up as burnout, exhaustion, or some unexpected loss. So it's far gentler to choose the pause before the pause chooses you. Now, when you do step into that quiet, something uncomfortable often happens. You discover an empty room inside yourself. And most of us panic because we've been taught this quiet little lie that a good life means every corner of our hearts should be constantly full of love, full of joy, full of productivity. So when we find emptiness, we assume we've taken a wrong turn. But that emptiness isn't a flaw. What we call failure is really just a normal season. What feels like a wrong turn is actually a well-timed pause. And that space we're so desperate to fill. It's often a healthy boundary, keeping out the noise we don't need. That quiet is a gift. It gives you room to breathe, to look honestly at the choices you've made, and to see clearly what you've been holding on to. It's a fresh start, a chance to gently release the habits, the relationships, the desires that might be causing pain to you or the people around you. So don't rush to fill it. Sit in it. Move through it. Let it clear your vision. And as you sit there, you start to notice something about how life actually works. The world doesn't respond to our emotions nearly as much as it responds to what we focus on. I tell my clients all the time, try not to take things personally. So much of our suffering comes from the meaning we attach to things that were never really about us. What you give weight to, what you cling to, what you push against, that's what tends to shape your experience. There's a quiet order to it, the same way the natural world follows steady, reliable laws. The inner life of the soul works the same way. So if you're seeking healing, start by understanding those principles. If you're hoping for change, let prayer become part of the conversation. And if you're longing for a closer connection to something greater, set the analysis aside for a moment and just let yourself feel. There's one place where this really gets tested, and that's anger. Many of the people I work with have been through genuine, significant pain, and understandably, some of them hold tightly to that anger. But over time, I've watched what it costs them: years of energy, attention, peace, sometimes even resources, all going toward keeping that anger alive. When you pause and add up the true cost of a grudge, it's honestly staggering. And here's what I've learned: freedom usually begins with a small shift. A willingness to bring the pain into prayer instead of trying to reason our way out of it alone. Because logic rarely sets us free here. The mind is brilliant. It can build an airtight case for why we have every right to stay bitter. That's exactly where grace meets us. There's room to honor every legitimate hurt you carry, and then when you're ready to gently set it down. So I'll leave you with this. You are not just passing through this life. You are woven into the fabric of it all.